Hey everyone, hope you're doing good and welcome back to the Basement Studio. I've currently got a little bit of a cold, so my voice is a bit bunged up and nasally. But yeah, I'm just going to fight through it and see how this goes. So I hope you've been enjoying January so far. It's been absolutely bloody freezing down here in the studio and I don't know how I've managed to get through it. If you didn't know, I'm about 3 meters below road level, like the road is up there. So you can hear cars driving past and I'm deep underground. It's kind of creepy sometimes, but it definitely helps me get inspired and get me in the darkness mood. So on today's video anyway, I wanted to have a look at an old project of mine that I didn't really do much about at the time. It's a short film called Sybil, and I wrote the soundtrack for it. It's on the Bandcamp sub and the Patreon, and I wanted to have a look through the session and what it was like writing music for that film, the kind of things that I did and themes that I introduced. The film itself is about 10 minutes long, and I'll put a link up to where you can watch it on YouTube for free. It did quite well with film festivals and that kind of thing. It's really creepy stuff, and the director Joanne is actually making a full-length movie of the short film, which is awesome. I've seen a few clips online. It's really great. The story's really horrific. It's about a mortuary assistant that starts to kill people and acting out revenge and things on people. It's really weird stuff and has a really dark twist at the end. For the soundtrack, I did everything in one session, pretty much in 3 days in one Ableton session, where I got all my instruments, loads of contact instruments, other VSTs and that kind of thing. Just kind of sat down and pieced together a score from Joanne's demo kind of sound guide that she gave me, which you can I'm sure you'll hear a little bit of where I'm kind of coming from in the soundtrack. And it also kind of gives you a bit of an insight into what it's like writing music for a film, because when you start, you don't have anything to work with apart from a near silent movie, apart from the dialogue and the few bits of sound effects. So you kind of have to start from scratch and play around with stuff, and you don't know what you're doing. But eventually, very slowly, things start to come out and you develop a sound palette and some themes and to shape the emotion of the movie, and then you're just kind of going. So if you do like the soundtrack and you wanted it to listen to or download on your mobile device or whatever, or on your computer, it's on Bandcamp, on my subscription and my Patreon. So I've got the session for Sybil loaded up right now, and I guess just get right into it. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you pretty soon. So here we are at the Ableton session screen for Sybil, the short movie soundtrack. And as you can see, the full 10-minute movie is in one gigantic session file, which is probably looks a bit weird because normally you might want to do different scenes in different sessions and stuff, and obviously it's a big session. Well, it's kind of getting on the big side, so it's a lot to manage, but I like doing things a bit weird in a weird fashion. And this is just something that I've kind of adapted and a workflow that I've learned how to do. And I would never say I'm an expert composer or an expert music writer or anything, but I've kind of learned things my own weird way, I guess. And yeah, I've kind of stuck with this, having everything in the session kind of feel to my work. I think that having everything in one big session has given me the ability to maintain continuity with tone, instrumentation, and I can easily track the progress of how things are going scene by scene, and the kind of architecture of how the score's going. I can visualize it really easily. I don't have an assistant or anything or anyone kind of working with me on this side of things, so it's just purely myself in this big gigantic Ableton session. And I find that especially on films like this, I use a lot of the same instruments and the same channels, so in a sense I'm just going to be copying and pasting stuff, or bringing things in from various scenes, so it's easy for me to have everything in one session file. Before we start going through the score, I just wanted to quickly demonstrate one really kind of funny thing that I get asked about quite a lot, and that is when you get a TV or film project to work on, or a commercial or something, what do you kind of what do you kind of get? Like, where do you start, and what do you get from the company or the director or the people? And usually you get this like movie file, which you then import, and then you write. Although I've muted that, obviously. You write over it. So in this case, I'm going to just show you the kind of how crazy volume the opening credits is. It's completely silent because I got a silent movie file. It has no sound effects, has no speaking. So I got this. So you have to start like from like nothing, pretty much. You have to just kind of start putting your hands on keys and stuff and like play guitar or sing or something to get a mood, just to get like something down. It can be quite intimidating because, as you can hear, there's nothing happening, like sound-wise. So you have nothing to go on. It's a very weird feeling at first. But luckily for this film, Joanne, the director and the writer, and she also acts in the movie as well, she's an incredible visionary when it comes to music and how films should be progressed with sound and music. And she had like amazing ideas on what I should be doing for the score and references. And basically she said, okay, what we want is an evil Amelie kind of soundtrack. So the soundtrack for Amelie is it's kind of like twinkly pianos and toy boxes and jewelry box sounds and things. And yeah, I kind of thought, okay, I can do that. I can do kind of twinkly noises and gears chiming and stuff, but we'll flip it up and make it quite evil because Sybil's character is very evil, very insular. She lives in her own head, and I kind of wanted the music to be from her brain, what she's hearing, as opposed to what is like being played for the characters from like a weird force above or something, some kind of god figure. I thought, no, I want it to be in Sybil's brain, this music. I want her like brain gears to be turning, and this is the noise that you're going to hear. So we started out like this, with all of these kind of like ticking clock kind of sounds, and like kind of like waltzy pianos and stuff. It's very childlike, and it's meant to kind of evoke memories and things of the character. And all the time when I'm writing, I'm also paying attention to what's happening on screen. So we've got someone that's really meticulous with their work, obviously very passionate, but also very alone and neat and tidy, but quite tight as well. Not a loose, vibey person. But there's a bit of brightness in there because it's filmed in the daytime. So it's not utter terror, it's something creepy's going on. So I had about like 2 or 3 days to do this score. So I loaded up a load of contact libraries that I like, including this one for the intro, which is really cool. This is a sample library called Kinetic Metal even. And I had this idea of kind of going like, on like lots of different instruments. So having like piano. Where are you? Oh, hang on. There we go. That kind of thing. I like ticking clock kind of rhythms and not very complex kind of stuff. It's just, yeah, it's really weird and like skeletal and makes you feel kind of uneasy. So I kind of had that with for the intro, with these very like deep string sounds underneath. Because I kind of thought, well, it's filmed and it's kind of like set. The tone is being set for a funeral home or a mortuary, and I always kind of associate big, kind of deep cellos and strings with funerals. So I thought, okay, maybe that could be the backbone of the soundtrack and for the opening theme. I've got a few other pianos in there as well. Whenever they're coming. Yeah, there we go. These are with the Una Corda contact library. And the violin is Spitfire Audio Artisan Violin Library, which is like a really cool, gorgeously played violin kit. I have my strings. That's the Olaf Arnold Spitfire Library, and there's also some other bits and pieces up here. And there's also some kind of like rising drones that come in as well, just to kind of emphasize the end of the theme. They're kind of cheesy, but I like having them at the end of something, or if there's a title sequence coming in, I'll have something to punctuate that. But yeah, this is what you kind of get in for the title, and it's kind of setting the mood for the rest of the movie. The instrumentation is becoming established and things. And once everything's finished, I kind of have silence for a bit.
Ah, Sybil.
And this is part of the dialogue that you hear.
I'll leave you in charge.
One thing that I kind of think is a really weird like talent and skill to do when you're composing is how to use silence well, and when not to have any music, which I've got. You'll see a few places in this soundtrack where there's gaps, where I've got nothing, because I want to have like a bit of a break. Just want to have a bit of a space to breathe, and then we can have more music. And I like to do this thing where there's speaking and I have no music, and then when the speaking stops, I push the music out. So it's kind of a bit of a push with dialogue. But when there's key moments,
Sybil,
like literally when you see
I'm off early.
a set of keys being given,
I'll leave you in charge.
there's more music. This is obviously a big moment in the movie. You can see in the character's face that means a lot.
Doing anything nice tonight, Sybil?
And I want you to like the character. I want you to like and care about Sybil.
Yeah. Whatever you do, just enjoy yourself.
So I have like quite tender moments,
Oh, and don't forget,
quite sad and melancholic.
We'll be in at 3 o'clock for a viewing.
I've not forgotten Mrs. Sniffles.
And the dialogue isn't that important here. What's being said, it's the face that's important, because they're just kind of chatting. But it was the facial expression that needed to be emphasized and made believable and made really passionate. So yeah, I kind of put these big, lavish, big filmic violins in. I think they're from Native Instruments as well. You kind of notice that there's not any actual acoustic recordings in this whole soundtrack. It's just contact stuff and a few other bits and pieces, but I didn't really have time to do anything in terms of recording. It's just kind of get in there, get some channels loaded up, get some instruments thrown in, and then start playing around. There's a bit of piano in there as well. And then this scene carries to the next one. And you start to see a bit more about who the character is, what they stand for, what their like values are personally and emotionally. And she's a super caring character. That's the issue. She's too caring. Some very like deep strings in there as well. And it's kind of about now that I thought, okay, let's have a silent moment because we've had so much music and so much sound thrown at you. Let's just cut it off and have a really awkward moment. Especially because you know that there's maybe going to be a body in here. Which there is, obviously. I'm also constantly watching the movie when I'm writing. I'll have like a little window up here just to kind of reference it all times. So I've also got a few other little bits and pieces in there. I've got this like really evil sound from Native Instruments Thrill, which I use quite a lot, and it just has these like lovely, like rising, crooked sounds and things. Really good samples, and I use that when usually when something's happening on screen that I need to and like punctuate. So a body's being shown, I need you to be like, oh my god, like what's happening. I also I like using these as well. An 808 kick drum covered in reverb. I've got the Sound Toys little plate reverb, so that just destroys these kick drums and makes them all like Jurassic Park kind of T-Rex vibes on the kick drums. And for the pianos, I've got this Unicorda pianos again. And also, like right at the bottom, it's just out of view, I've got a return channel which I'm sending pretty much everything to using this function here. And so I send everything just to this one channel strip, or pretty much everything, and it kind of squashes everything into something and then spits it back out. So I've got everything running into this cheap, well, it's actually a free reactor effect of a space echo, which is it's a good one. It sounds great, but it sounds cheap and nasty, and I kind of wanted that. I wanted it to be all saturated and compressed and things. And I've also got an Echo Boy after that, and having everything into the return channel gives it like it feels more physical for me. It feels narrower as opposed to wider for these specific things. I like everything to be kind of crushed and squashed into its own place. It just kind of anchors everything down. And yeah, it just felt good to do it. It sounded better as well. But yeah, I wanted everything to have a uniform general effect, as if it's been run through an old machine or something. So there's that little kind of bonus channel at the bottom there. Let's go through this scene again a little bit. So she's seeing the body here, and obviously feeling quite connected to it. And I've got these like kind of romantic violins going on as well. just to emphasize, without the music, this is what I'm delivered when I start working on the project. So it's completely silent, and you could just start from anywhere with this thing. You could go the other way with what I've done and not have the strings. I could maybe just go for pianos, and maybe just like go. So I could have done that maybe. that's kind of cool. But yeah, I went with this big string sound just to kind of get you all emotional on there. So I've made this like kind of like waltz sort of thing, because you're kind of wondering what's happening. And because it's kind of waltzy, it's kind of playful, and it's, you know, oh my god, yeah. Okay, so this is when the darkness comes in. And for the darkness, what I've got is the regular music with like the strings and things, and I've also got these really cool patches going on here, made from Native Instruments Thrill sound library. And there are like really weird clattering string sounds and things. There's another one here as well. To move up as well and things like that. So those what create those like really weird like builds alongside the main music. And then back again. So I wanted to kind of like have like a little thing there of sound, and then in again like the main movie is completely silent, so it needed music here. And you notice as well that I'm always using the same instrument, the same patches and the same channels and things, because I wanted the movie to sound like one big track. So I thought, well, I may as well use the same things. There's some volume adjustments and things when I want things higher and lower, but I'm quite into having movie soundtracks as being like from one universe, one tonal universe. So things kind of build up there a little bit with a couple more like atmosphere noises too, like this one. This is really cool. And that's one of these thrill patches that I've made alongside a Devil Lock Soundtoys distortion, which is like really kind of like gnarly digital distortion. Oh, disgusting. So we've had a really like horrible scene of like violence and gore. So I thought, well, just have a bit of silence now. Let's just not have any music for a bit. Just so the realization can really sink into you with what's happened, which is bad. Bad things happened. And I also wanted the interaction to be really tense. This is Joanne, the filmmaker.
When he's ready.
Mm-hmm. And Joanne's come to look at her husband's body, who's being sliced up.
I'll be going then.
And is...
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of freaked out. very significant part of the movie there with the antlers. So I wanted to have like, this is like the pivotal moment of the movie, the most sound, everything's building. So I've got a few new sounds in here, like this. These building sounds. So they kind of really add to like ramping everything up, alongside all the strings and stuff going on. Including like lots of high-pitched violining and things like that. I use this really cool instrument called the Artisan Violin from Spitfire. It's just like a beautifully played violin sample pack. Sorry, not contact instrument. Sorry, that I use for lots of things. That's lovely. Alongside these bowed cymbals. So it's all about building to that one bit. And then we carry on going again.
You're finding this funny?
This particular bit is the demise of Sybil's sanity. So we have like some of the same sounds from the theme tune, just played a bit differently and a bit more crooked, a bit weirder.
Mr. Fisher.
So I've kept it quite quiet as well because I wanted you to feel like, just like icky and like, oh my god, what's happening? Not full of action. So yeah, she's like really annoyed at this corpse.
Sorry for being upset, Mike.
So she loves this guy, this particular body.
He killed him.
And she's gonna fix him. So there's a few of the little bits in there as well, like some big sounds. I've got these like crazy. Some more big, like kind of building noises. Like that. And I really like using these 808 kick drums with tons of reverb and like pitched down quite far to like add a kind of a boom when scenes change. So after that, we've got a big like a big rest of music for a good minute or so, just while everything is a bit weird and you kind of at unease a little bit.
Hello? All right. Yeah. I'll be right there.
So I was really tempted at this point, and I still kind of am, to maybe get some. While this is happening, it's kind of weird. Maybe I should have just like had like just like a something, because like the look on Joanne's face is it is of like fear and stuff. So maybe I should have gone.
All right. Yeah.
Like that here.
I'll be right there.
But I haven't. I don't know why.
Thank you.
Maybe that's like a decision that, yeah, I should have made. But the music's in now anyway. But yeah, it just kind of shows that so when you get like footage that's completely silent, you can put music anywhere and you have to just choose where and when you want the story to progress. Looking back, maybe I could have put something there, but maybe I went with the less is more approach as well. And that's how the soundtrack side of the film ends. After that, it's just silent really for the rest of the movie. As you find out that Joanne was buried, and I think that was her brother who was in the coffin or something. I can't remember what happens, but it's a really like cold ending. Then there's some end credits music and that kind of thing. It's got a secret ending, and I'm not gonna spoil it. I suggest you watch it because there is more stuff that happens. So do go and watch it. So yeah, that's the full soundtrack, and that's what I've done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep recording. I'm gonna play through the soundtrack and the movie from start to finish in the session, and I'm gonna mute different instruments so you can just hear what's going on. You can see the session like kind of rolling around, and yeah, just a few of the bits like that I thought. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that run through and the soundtrack too. I hope you like the soundtrack on Bandcamp and Patreon. I'm not going to put that one on streaming or anything because I think it exists on its own, and it's just nice to have something just for Bandcamp and Patreon. So yeah, that's up there to listen to in full. What I've done is I've kind of, as you can see, there are different pieces. So there's a piece of music, there's a piece of music, etc. So I've kind of chopped bits out and made tracks from those pieces, or just done completely whole pieces of music like that. So it exists as an album and as a soundtrack. Sorry, I can't speak. I'm full of cold. So yeah, I hope you like that. And I hope you've enjoyed this like walkthrough and a look into what goes into writing music for films, TV stuff. Any questions or anything like that, just drop me a line, drop me a comment, Twitter, Bandcamp, whatever, Instagram, everything, at Soul Crooms. And yeah, this is what I kind of do day to day, week by week, and it's really good fun. And you get to work with some amazing people and do some really weird sounds and make creepy noises on keyboards. So yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for all the support on Bandcamp and Patreon, and generally with listening to music. It's absolutely amazing, and it's been wonderful to see albums being sold, streamed, whatever, gigs, obviously playing live. And yeah, I'll be back pretty soon with another exclusive. I don't know what it's going to be. I've got loads of stuff done, none of it scheduled, so I'm going to get cracking on that because I've got about 1,000 albums finished, which I think you're going to love. But yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, I will speak to you pretty soon. Take care, bye.
Ah, Sybil. I'm off early. I'll leave you in charge.
Excuse me. I stood by you through all your affairs. And then you go and die, you fucking bastard!
I'll leave you to do the rest, Sybil. I'm done for the night. Lock up when you've had enough. We can finish off in the morning.
So, you ring me when he's when he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
Right then, I'll be going then. Thank you.
you.
Hello? All right. Yeah. I'll be right there. Thank you.